Hello, dear viewers. So, today we faced Kuzma Ostap with 2285 rating, not that high, and I was at 2387 question mark. And the first move was a shocking f3. Oh, how often do you see this? Not very often. So, I replied with e5, e4, and now I thought, okay, this diagonal is slightly weakened, so let's develop our bishop there to take advantage of it. And after knight c3, I develop my knight to c6 just to make sure that white has hard time uh, pushing d4 and blocking the mentioned diagonal. So that was my basic concept here. And I was pondering what to do on knight a4, but apparently there is this exchange and then winning a pawn. I didn't see that. I was planning to actually retreat my bishop, maybe to e7. Yeah, maybe suboptimal, but that was my plan, honestly. He didn't play that, nonetheless. He went d3, and I went to e7. Why did I go to e7? Because I didn't want to get pinned after knight f6, bishop to g5. So I am reserving the option to go f6 if need be by going knight e7. And knight e2 followed. I castled. No, sorry, I played a6. Why did I do that? Because I really wanted to preserve this bishop. I wanted to be ready to meet knight a4 with bishop a7. So he played bishop g5, I castled, and after queen d2, I decided to go f6. And now, the funny thing, we both moved our f pawns one square forward. But I believe that it has cost white more than it costed me. So let's see. Bishop e3, and I jumped in with knight d4, hoping that white is going to mix tactic. Black is threatening something here, I guess. You will see it. We will see it in a few seconds. Just before we show that, why is knight d4 a good move? So ideally, uh, white wants to take with the knight, but here it comes with a slight problem that both his pieces are attacked, and if he in turn attacks my bishop, I have an in-between move attacking his queen and I win a piece. So he cannot do that, and if he takes with the bishop, then this knight is in sort of trouble. If he goes here, I just go back, threatening to win it, and even if he saves the knight, it doesn't have any future. Many future possible squares are covered. Yeah, it can go to f2, but what will it do there? So it's a slightly awkward position for white after knight d4. No matter which way he captures, it's not great. So he should not touch it, but also he needs to defend against a threat. Can you see it? So this huge threat is, of course, knight takes c2, giving a check, deflecting the queen, and then capturing on e3. So white should defend this bishop or defend the c2 pawn. For example, he can defend the bishop like this, and then the tactic doesn't work. But people don't like to retreat, and maybe my opponent was slightly careless here. Not careless, he was not aware. Maybe he was not cautious enough. So he finally played knight a4, and of course, this move made me happy because now, after this check, he has to take, and I not that I win a pawn. Yeah, I won a pawn. That's great, but it's about this bishop. It is cutting his side of the board in half, and it is making it very awkward for him to move his king from the center. Of course, there are other benefits here, like this square is weak, I can utilize it, and he cannot develop so easily. So basically, white is completely lost from here on. Nevertheless, white continued to play. He gave a check, and I played d5. The point being, if he takes, I have b5. Excellent. Double attack. And yeah, the variation doesn't end there, but that would be one way to end the game a little bit faster. He didn't take it, he moved the queen to b3, and now I lashed with b5, taking some space, and developed my bishop. And here, his only chance to maybe fight is to push d4. I mean, it doesn't work, but just to somehow get rid of this bishop in the future. So I played c5. I clamped on the d4 square, so he will never push that pawn, and that means that this guy will probably never be developed. I mean, he can go to this side, but it doesn't achieve anything because, yeah, this bishop is preventing the king from moving. So he tried g3. That's the only logical way to develop this guy. But as I said, it's not going to help much. Queen d7 followed. Queen c2. Yeah, so here I defended my bishop, and now I'm threatening to push and attack his queen. So he moved to c2, but d4. And after knight b1, c4. My pawns are marching forward. And after b3, I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist playing c3 and killing this knight forever. Once I play b4, that knight is just never coming out. See, all his squares are going to be taken. So white played f4, and that's what I did. b4 as planned. If he ever pushes a3, I always have a5, another pawn coming to b4. So effectively, black is up a knight at this moment. So it's just this is something that it doesn't make sense to continue playing here. But okay, my opponent is obviously one of those who plays until mate, and he played f5, and now I closed the queen side to trap this knight. But I don't want to close the whole board, so in order to open things up, I play knight f5. This even cannot be called a sacrifice, because very soon black regains material, but it's just to open some lines. You see, now this rook is in trouble. He can try rook g1, but of course I'm not gonna part with this beautiful bishop. Yeah, if he goes rook g1, I can just play here, threatening checkmate and forcing him to move this knight to defend the f2 square, and then I win the whole rook. Yeah, so sometimes if you can take some material, don't rush. Maybe there is a better move, like here after rook g1, not taking, but instead including in between move queen f4. Alright, he didn't play that. He played bishop h3, so I took the rook, and then he sacrificed one of his knights, but I think he chose the wrong one, because this one is dead. So I mean, this one is dead too. So both are, but yeah, after sacrificing the e2 knight, white is still left with the b1 knight. So I don't get it, but okay, king e2 was the move that attacked both of my bishops at the same time. But even if black loses one of those bishops, he's still winning. But can you see a way to save material and keep huge material advantage here? All right, I hope you found it. It's the move that I played, queen d5. And now, if he takes the bishop, he gets checkmated because these squares are covered. And on the other hand, with queen d5, I defended my h1 bishop. So nothing better than to give up rook for two bishops. And yeah, I was expecting my opponent to resign here, but yeah, as I said, he probably always plays until mate. And it actually took me quite a few moves. I think I needed about 10 moves to checkmate from here, which is surprising because I'll just show these moves without much commentary, because I thought checkmate is coming. Maybe I missed it somewhere. Probably I did. But eventually I managed to checkmate my opponent. Uh, and that was the end position of the game. So what is interesting is that Lit Chess is saying that I had zero inaccuracies, zero mistakes and zero blunders. Of course, my task was made easier by achieving a huge winning advantage in the opening, and then any move you play, unless it's a real blunder, is good. So if you have a huge advantage, it's not that hard for experienced players to play with no inaccuracies. So that was the trick. It's not that I played a masterpiece or anything. Anyways, fun experience facing one f3 and a good experience because I actually won convincingly. So I'm a happy camper. See you in the next one. Bye.